The Parisian night air hung heavy, thick with the scent of rain and exhaust fumes. Inside a sprawling mansion, Teodorin Obiang moved with an air of unassailable entitlement. He was the son of a president, a prince in his own kingdom of excess. Here, surrounded by marble, gold, and the silent deference of his staff, reality was whatever he decreed. His desires, no matter how extravagant, were commands funded by a river of distant, unseen suffering. This was not just wealth, it was a spectacle of consumption, a brazen display of power derived from the systematic looting of a nation. Teodorin's life was a curated collection of the world's most expensive toys, supercars, mansions, and rare art. Each acquisition was a statement, a testament to his untouchability, a middle finger to the impoverished millions whose birthright he treated as his personal allowance. The silence of his opulent surroundings was broken only by the clinking of ice in a crystal glass or the low hum of a climate control system. Yet, for Teodorin, it was never enough. His insatiable hunger drove the relentless plunder of his homeland, a tragedy playing out on a grand international stage. Teodorin's fortune was a direct consequence of his lineage and his calculated exploitation of state resources. Appointed to key ministerial positions by his father, he gained unfettered access to Equatorial Guinea's oil revenues. The Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry became his personal enrichment scheme, siphoning vast sums into offshore accounts. One notorious scheme, a tax on timber exports, which bypassed national treasuries and flowed directly into his control. Timber companies, eager to operate, had little choice but to comply, effectively paying tribute to the minister. This was not governance. It was extortion on a national scale, stripping the country of income that could have funded schools and hospitals. Beyond timber, Teodorin manipulated contracts and state enterprises, ensuring public funds were diverted for his use. The nation's oil wealth, which should have lifted its citizens from poverty, instead fueled his empire of luxury. While the average citizen struggled, Teodorin meticulously built a global portfolio of assets, each purchase a testament to the depth of his corruption. Teodorin Obiang's appetite for luxury was legendary, his spending habits a grotesque caricature of a billionaire playboy. His collection of supercars, Bugattis, Koenigsegg's, Lamborghinis, was a museum of automotive extravagance. These were not just cars, but symbols of untouchable status, paraded in Paris, Malibu, and Geneva. His property portfolio spanned continents, a $30 million Malibu mansion, a lavish Parisian estate, each insulated from the poverty of his homeland. Beyond cars and houses, Teodorin indulged in a private jet, customized to his tastes, and amassed Michael Jackson memorabilia worth millions. Every purchase, no matter how whimsical, was made without concern for its origin or impact, a clear demonstration of his detachment. The sheer volume of his acquisitions painted a picture of a man driven by an insatiable need to accumulate. He spent tens of millions on shopping trips, buying designer clothes and jewelry with the casualness of someone buying groceries. His life was a constant party, while his nation languished in neglect, its resources hemorrhaging into his ever-expanding collection of extravagances. For years, whispers of Teodorin Obiang's outrageous spending circulated among anti-corruption activists and journalists. These murmurs became a roar as international law enforcement took notice. The U.S. Department of Justice filed a civil forfeiture complaint in 2011, seeking to seize over $70 million in assets, including the Malibu mansion and Michael Jackson memorabilia. The complaint detailed how Teodorin, as Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, amassed a fortune through corruption and money laundering. Simultaneously, French authorities launched their own investigation into his Parisian assets, uncovering a complex web of shell companies. Police raids on his Paris residence, seizing supercars and luxury goods, solidified his image as a symbol of grand corruption. Each headline transformed Teodorin from an obscure minister's son into an international poster child for state-sponsored theft. The name Obiang in Equatorial Guinea signifies two vastly different realities. For Teodorin and the elite, it means unimaginable wealth and power. For most citizens, it means poverty and repression. Equatorial Guinea is one of Africa's largest oil producers, yet its people remain mired in poverty. Hospitals lack medicines, schools are dilapidated, and life expectancy is low. In Malabo and Bata, elite enclaves stand in stark contrast to sprawling shantytowns. Access to electricity and clean water is a luxury, not a given. The nation's riches are siphoned off before they can reach the public, diverted to fund the extravagant whims of figures like Teodorin. The disconnect is absolute, a chasm of inequality. The resources that could have built a vibrant society became the personal piggy bank of its rulers, leaving the people to bear the consequences. The initial exposés were just the beginning of a global effort to hold Teodorin Obiang accountable. As US and French investigators dug deeper, the scale of his illicit empire emerged, a network designed to obscure the origins of his wealth. Swiss authorities joined in, seizing a fleet of luxury cars in Geneva, including a Koenigsegg 11 and a Lamborghini Veneno Roadster. These seizures damaged his reputation and signaled that Europe was closing its doors to his ill-gotten gains. Law enforcement agencies across continents demonstrated a growing resolve to combat grand corruption. Anti-corruption campaigners played a vital role, keeping Teodorin's case in the public eye. Despite mounting legal pressure, Teodorin and his government denied wrongdoing, claiming the investigations were neo-colonial plots. But courts increasingly rejected his claims of immunity, and the cracks in his facade of untouchability widened. Tracing Teodorin's wealth was a monumental task, akin to navigating a labyrinth designed to confuse and deter. Money flowed from state coffers through shell companies and offshore accounts, obscuring the ultimate owner, Teodorin himself. Financial crime experts pieced together wire transfers, invoices, and property deeds, unraveling the web he spun to launder stolen funds. The revolutionary timber tax, for example, was paid directly to companies he controlled, then wired across borders to buy assets. Properties and cars were often bought through trusts or registered to associates, creating plausible deniability. The sheer volume of spending and the direct link to his ministerial income provided compelling evidence. Enablers, lawyers, bankers, real estate agents helped move and spend his stolen wealth, sometimes turning a blind eye. The investigations highlighted the urgent need for stricter anti-money laundering controls to prevent such large-scale looting. The wheels of international justice grind slowly, but in Teodorin's case, persistence yielded results. The U.S. Department of Justice reached a settlement in 2014. Teodorin forfeited over $30 million in assets, with funds repatriated for Equatorial Guinea's people. In France, a court found him guilty of embezzlement and money laundering, ordering the confiscation of his assets, including the €100 million Avenue Foch mansion. Switzerland auctioned his seized supercars, raising $27 million for social programs in Equatorial Guinea. These actions, while not recovering billions, were significant victories for accountability. Despite setbacks, Teodorin remains vice president, largely insulated from justice at home. Sanctions restrict his travel and access to financial systems, and ongoing scrutiny serves as a reminder that his actions have consequences. The slow grind continues, chipping away at the impunity he once enjoyed. Teodorin Obiang's story is more than a tale of one man's corruption. It's a chronicle of a nation's stolen potential. The billions siphoned from state coffers represent missed opportunities for development and a sustainable future. While Teodorin amassed fleeting luxuries, his people were deprived of basic dignities: healthcare, education, clean water, and opportunity. The impact of such looting reverberates through generations, perpetuating a cycle of deprivation. The social contract is shattered when leaders prioritize personal enrichment over public welfare. International efforts to seize assets can only recover a fraction of what was lost. The deeper damage is institutional decay and entrenched injustice. The true crime is not just the theft of money, but the theft of hope and the mortgaging of a nation's future. The people of Equatorial Guinea deserve far better than the poverty and repression that his greed has helped to perpetuate.